So welcome and good day to all of you. My name is Varun Rawat, representing Path Infotech, and I will be moderating the webinar today. I would like to thank all of you for joining us. I hope you are safe and taking care of yourself. In this third part of the webinar series on Oracle EBS upgrade, we will discuss about some key enhancements in Oracle EBS supply chain in Oracle latest release. We will also look at the EBS Enterprise Command Center for supply chain. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. All attendee lines will remain muted during the session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your control panel. The Q&A round will be at the end of the session, and we will address your questions at that time. The session is also being recorded. The link will be shared with all the participants post the webinar. We are going to have a raffle draw today for the attendees, and I'll be sharing the entitlements of the raffle draw at the end of the session. So let us begin today's session with a quick recap of what we covered in the last two sessions. We talked about Oracle EBS roadmap, what are the upgrade options available. We discussed about foundation and finance new feature, and enterprise command center, and online patching. We'll talk more about in the subsequent slides. So as we know that Oracle's continued commitment towards innovation is evident from the consistent new releases. A recent release being 12.2.10 in September 2020. The support for our 12.1 application is ending in December 2021, and the related database 11G are supported till December 20, and 12C database support is ending in July 2021. So enterprise who are on R 12.1 and 11G or 12C, time is now to upgrade EBS application and database to the supported version. We also talked about the Oracle roadmap and choices available thereof. So the very first option is that you can stay as is. That is, as much as we depict that this is an option, but this is not an option. Enterprise don't want to be running their core business operation on a non-compliant platform. Option number two, you can upgrade and stay on-prem. So enterprises which are not yet ready for public cloud, be it data privacy obligations or for their investments in infrastructure, etc., this is a good option to pick. Third option is you can upgrade and move to IS Cloud. Enterprises considering to begin this journey to cloud, this is a great option to embrace the cloud without any change in the application environment. The fourth option is upgrade and coexist with Oracle SaaS. So enterprises which are open to implement new modules like EPM, HCM, Oracle SaaS application, and integrate with the Oracle EBS application. The fourth option is embrace modern SaaS. So it is a very extreme decision for an enterprise, but it requires a considerable investment of time, effort, and money. However, it is if the business transformation warrants a change, it is the way to go. We also talked about the new features available. So we have categorized new feature and functionality in various buckets like foundation, financial, supply chain, manufacturing. While we have already covered the foundation and finance new features, the key ones to take note are user interface on your, which you can also see on your screen on your right hand side. We all know that and have experienced that the user interface of Oracle is not the latest and greatest. Oracle has really worked out to come up with a modern UI this time. Second is online patching. As much as this is a core technology innovation, but the rewards of this innovation are more for business and business users. With online patching, downtime is required only during the cutover phase, and it improves availability of the system. And last but not the least, ECC, Enterprise Command Centers. So this is the single biggest innovation that Oracle has done to Oracle EBS starting from 12.2.4 and continued to enhance that with every new release. So application upgrade, usually involves significant investments of time and resources. So just being tech compliant cannot be the primary driver of the upgrade. So our effort is to enable you to take a conscious decision on upgrade and draw maximum value of your investment. With that, we quickly shift our focus to today's session, and let me begin with introducing our speakers. But before that, let us do a quick poll. You would see a poll on your screens right now. I would request you to take a moment and answer this poll. So thank you so much for your responses. We'll move ahead with the presentation. Now, we are pleased to have with us today an Oracle expert from one of the largest and prestigious gaming company in the world, Arsath. He's a senior manager applications at Electronic Arts, Singapore. A technology enthusiast, Arsath has in-depth knowledge and expertise in Oracle applications, both from functional and technical standpoint, with more than 2 decades of experience across software implementation and delivery. He has led multiple tracks of large and complex transformation programs while working with some of the leading organizations like FOSI, Xerox, Infosys, and Symantec in the past. So hi, Arsath, how are you doing? Glad to have you here.
Hey, good morning.
Great. Yeah. So there's another thing that due to some unavoidable circumstances, the previous speaker, Harish, is not able to present the session today. So instead of him, we have Mr. Rahul Jain, who will be presenting today. By the way of introduction, Rahul is an Oracle application specialist at Path Infotech, and he has more than 14 years of ERP experience with expert knowledge in supply chain in Oracle SCM. Rahul has worked with many organizations in the past and helped customers to accelerate their digital transformation journey. Hi, Rahul. Great to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you.
Great. So without further ado, I would request Rahul to take the lead from here and give us an insightful session. So over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, thank you, Varun. Before we start with the presentation and discuss about the features and differences between release 12.1 and 12.2 and the ECC features that we're going to see, I would like to ask Mr. Arsath, please, to share his experience and EBS journey. Mr. Arsath, please.
Rahul, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear
Arsath?
me? Yeah.
Yeah, Arsath, you there?
Yeah. Good morning. So my name is Arsath. I'm part of Electronic Arts, and I've worked with the Oracle applications for about 2 decades. I think Vikram introduced me pretty well. Thank you. So I've been part of the gaming industry, which is very, very dynamic and a fast-paced one. And again, our industry is also moving away from traditional supply chain onto digital fulfillment, and we adapt new revenue models all the time, and we integrate new platforms every year. Steam, Stadia recently. There's a lot of excitement around the 12.2 version and the new features that it brings. I'm excited to be here to begin with. So just around a year ago, we are on 12.1.3, by the way, and we moved our 12.1.3 to OCI Cloud. And right now, we are in the process of upgrading to 12.2.9. We started the project recently, and we're hoping to complete our upgrade sometime middle of next year. My business partners as well are very, very excited and welcoming of the new features this release is bringing. So we are analyzing every new feature, being part of the supply chain area focus. So I'm here to also pick up, tips around what I can take back from my organization. Especially on the new features in the supply chain, as well as the very exciting ECCs. Okay, and I think we are also pretty impressed about how Oracle is putting this 12.2 in front of us, and their commitment to say that this is going to be our last upgrade that we will ever do. It's pretty impressive. So hopefully, this is one upgrade that will bring in a lot of features, a lot of stability to organizations, and we don't have to relook at in a few years' time, spend big dollars in terms of another upgrade, which is very nice. And a lot of good features like the online patching is bringing a lot of peace of mind to some of my business critical processes that can't afford downtime. So pretty good to be here. So Rahul, I'm here to learn and happy to share your journey.
Yeah, thank you, Arsath. Thank you for sharing your experience and EBS journey. Now we will move on to see the differences between release 12.1 and 12.2. Next slide, please. Yeah, so Oracle has come up with the new features. With every release, Oracle comes up with the new features. As we can see on the top, we have Enterprise Command Center dashboard. It actually came up with release 12.2.4. It provides actually highly interactive user experience, and you can read down to transaction levels for specific suppliers or customers or specific purchase orders and sales orders. We'll see a lot more about Enterprise Command Center dashboard in the coming slides. Then we have the online patching. As we saw in the starting slides also, we have the advantage when we use the online patching because it reduces the downtime for the business users during upgrading. Then we have actually 3 modules that we're going to cover: order management, purchasing, and inventory. So some of the features we'll look into in detail. And we have in order management new features like user-defined attributes, book date field on sales order form. In this feature, actually Oracle provides the field on the sales order form so that you can capture when was the sales order actually booked from the customer's perspective. And you also have line split in internal sales orders, pick to order, and one of the major features, integration with approval management system AME. Actually, through this, Oracle has introduced complex approval types for the order management. And coming to purchasing, we have new features like encumbered document revisions without unreserving funds, withdrawal of purchase order after submission for approval. And one of the key features, which actually causes problem for a lot of users in the previous releases, we have a lot of requisitions, and we can actually club all these requisitions into one purchase order through the Buyer Work Center. And in inventory also, we have new features like cycle count enhancements. We have the approval management system AME for the cycle count enhancement. Previously, it was only the approvals at the cycle count summary page. And then we have receiving operating interface enhancements, where Oracle has provided the form on which we actually can query the receiving transactions that are stuck and work on it. And then we have material workbench, HTML user face, and receiving. We're going to see some of the features in detail in the coming slides. Next slide, please.
Rahul, I have a question.
Yeah, please. Yes, Arsath.
So what are the new features do you think specifically to order to cash processes that I should take a detailed look in the new version?
Yeah, Arsath. Actually, as we discussed in the previous slide, we have some new features. Let me discuss upon some of the features in detail, and then we'll see whether we have answered your queries, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. So one of the features that Oracle introduced, assemble to order flag at warehouse level. In this, actually, we can take the example of the car manufacturing industry. Actually, we use the configure to order cycle. When we use the configure to order cycle, what actually happens is some of the customers, they demand that we need alloy wheels, we need the leather seats, or some type of customization upon the base model. Initially, in initial releases, Oracle had this feature that we could only enable the ATO flag at the IMO level. But now, say we have the company and 2 inventory orgs, which are sister inventory orgs, we can have the ATO feature in one of the inventory orgs, and in another inventory org, we can deliver the base model. So this actually separates from the IMO level. So basically, we have the ATO shipping flag, ATO flag from the shipping warehouse instead of the IMO. So this actually enhances the capability from the order management perspective. Next slide, please. One of the features is user-defined attributes. Actually, we use the DFFs at different places, at the line level, at the order level. But there is the limitation. We have only 15 to 20 fields so that we can capture the customer data. But there are sometimes need that we need to capture some more data. So Oracle has come up with a feature called user-defined attributes. It actually works with the attribute groups, where you have in each attribute group around 70 fields, 40 fields for character data, 20 plus fields for around numbers, and so on. We can also use the value sets optionally for these fields, and then there are limitless number of attribute groups that we can use for particular user-defined attributes. So in this way, we can actually capture customer data without any limit. So it actually provides the better option if we upgrade and use this feature. Next slide, please. Next feature is line split in internal sales order. Internal sales order, we actually use it when we have, say, 2 inventory orgs and we want to transfer the material from one of inventory orgs to other inventory org. Then we use the internal sales order feature. But the problem was that if you use this feature and you don't have the sufficient material from the transferring org, so Oracle by default actually splits the lines. And we, from the user's perspective, we didn't have this feature. So Oracle has given us this feature. Now you can actually transfer the material from one of the inventory orgs to other inventory orgs as per your requirement, as per your scheduling. So what you can do is you can actually transfer material, say 20 plus material, 20 or 25 quantity of material for one schedule and the rest of the material in other schedule. So this feature has greatly enhanced the capability that we can use. And actually with that, we also have the ECC dashboards for the order management that we will see in the feature slides. I hope I have given some of the answers to your queries, Arsath, regarding the order management.
Yes, Rahul, absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah. So we can move on. Next slide, please. Now coming to purchasing application, we have one of the features called withdrawal of purchase order after submission for approval. In this functionality, actually, in earlier releases, what used to happen was that as a buyer, if you submit the purchase order and after submitting the purchase order for approval, you didn't have any capability to apply any modification. But now with this new feature, you can, as a buyer, go to the buyer work center and withdraw. We have the withdrawing functionality, so you can withdraw the purchase order which are already submitted for approval. But the condition is that these purchase orders must be having the status of in process or pre-approved. So with that feature, we can actually modify the purchase order without creating any revision. So this is one of the features that Oracle actually introduced. Next slide, please.
Rahul, I have a question.
Yeah, Arsath, please go on.
Are there specific inventory-related enhancements that target efficiency on the shop floor?
Yeah, regarding the inventory features, I will just touch upon a few features that actually inventory offers with the new releases. Let me complete this slide regarding the purchasing application, and then we will see one of few of the features that inventory module actually offers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. One of the features is encumbered document revisions without unreserving funds. Actually, when you use encumbrance, what you have is you reserve the funds for the purchase order. But what if you want to say change the amount in the purchase order? In earlier releases, what you used to do is you unreserve the funds first and then update the purchase orders. But now with this new feature, new option called change amount in the purchase order documents, you can actually do the incrementals or decrementals in the amount without unreserving the fund. So this actually saves a lot of time, and this is actually a great feature that Oracle introduced with the new releases. Next slide, please. So coming to some of the features which inventory offers from the Oracle. One of the features that Oracle introduces Material Workbench, HTML user interface. The first question is why HTML user interface when you already have the Material Workbench in the form, Oracle Forms based, right? See, the HTML user interface, it actually gives you the capability to use it even on the tablets, mobile phones. So it is actually device agnostic, and what you can do is you can use it on the tablets. It is desktop friendly, it is laptop friendly, and you have all the capabilities that you had with the Oracle Forms related to Material Workbench. So by using this user form, you can check on-hand quantities as you used to do via receipt or against items or against purchase orders. And you can check on-hand quantities of a particular item for all inventory orgs. And with recent releases, Oracle has also introduced a new feature called creating move orders using this Material Workbench HTML user interface. So actually you can create move orders directly from this HTML user interface. Next slide, please. One of the features, as we already discussed, the advantages of HTML user interface, we also have the same HTML user interface with receiving also. Earlier, this functionality was not available. So definitely, as we talked about this functionality, we have the advantages as it is tablet friendly, it is desktop friendly, laptop friendly. And one of the features that it offers is we can see the tiles. As we can see in the picture, these are the tiles. These are read only. So if you see expected today is 0, that means there are no receipts that are expected today, or 9 overdue. That means 9 receipts are already overdue. We need to work on it. So these are some of the features that gives you the straight edge when you are working with the receiving HTML user interface. So this form actually represents a dashboard of the receiving. So actually it is a part of the receiving dashboard. We're going to see some of the use cases when we discuss about ECC dashboards regarding receiving. Next slide, please. So I hope, Arshad, I have answered some of your queries regarding inventory module, some of the features that Oracle provides, and we will discuss regarding the inventory dashboards also. Yeah,
it does, definitely does. I think some of those HTML interface are really a welcome change, because
yes.
that allows touch-friendly devices, particularly people in the warehouse can use an iPad rather than having to carry a laptop.
Yes.
So, and log into Oracle, not having to worry about having to log into forms, etc. So that's a big welcome. Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah. So let us discuss some of the features regarding Enterprise Command Center. Actually, this feature, as we discussed, came with Oracle Enterprise Release 12.2.4, and since then, Oracle with every release gives us new dashboards. So there is no additional cost. One of the key, you can say, advantages integrated with EBS UI and security. That means that the same security applies that you have with the EBS. Same users with the security. I mean, if there are some users in the EBS which can access certain data, they can access certain data in the dashboards also. And so far, Oracle has given us around 90+ ready dashboards across 25 modules. We have the ECC Command Center dashboards for procurement, inventory, order management in supply chain, and in financials for general ledger, payables, receivables, in manufacturing, and in other modules. We're going to see some of the dashboards and discuss some of the use cases in detail in coming slides. Next slide, please. So now we are for the poll. Varun, can you take the poll, please?
Sure, Rahul. So there will be a poll on your screens right now. I would request you to take a moment and answer the poll question. Thank you so much for your responses. We'll close the poll now and I'll pass it on back to Rahul.
Thank you, Varun. Now we were discussing some of the features. Let us see some of the features of Enterprise Command Center in detail. Actually, what it offers. It offers the highly interactive user interface. You can drill down from the high-level data to transaction-level data. You can browse on it, drill on it. If you see in the picture, we have at the left the refinements, the search filters. You can apply refinement search filters as per your requirements. On the top, you have the summation bar where you see the summary of the main data. Then you have the tech clouds. Tech clouds are also called world clouds. You see the most prominent category. Actually, building is the most prominent category. That's why it is the biggest in size. Then you have the charts and graphs, the bar graphs and the pie charts. You can customize it as per your requirements to different graphs and charts. In the bottom, you have the results table grid. Here you have the actual data that is flowing from the EBS. So you can actually go from here to EBS directly. When you click on, say, certain purchase order, sales order, depending on the dashboard you're using in procurement or sales order management, you can directly go to EBS and then fill in all the data that was missing earlier and then complete it and then again resubmit it. So actually, Oracle, about ECC and the dashboards, Oracle has called it as conversation with data. Why is it so? Because you can drill down on the data. You can just click on the data and then it will open up to the next level. Then you can again drill down to the next level. So it is actually interactive, highly interactive, and it offers a lot of features. And we'll see some of the demo also in the coming slides. Next slide, please.
Rahul, I have a question.
Yeah, sure, please.
So are you also going to talk about iProc and iProc ECC? I heard that they are well blended. When you have ECC and iProc together, it offers a lot more features than a regular ECC. Are you going to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, in the coming slides, we'll see some of the features that iProc also offers. Let us complete some of the features that purchasing application offers. Then we will discuss some of the features that iProc offers. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So starting with the Procurement Command Center, we have the procurement dashboard. So this we can use to take corrective actions, manage against dates for timely completion. We also have one of the use cases, the demos on the coming slides, where we can see how we can use it actually. So you also have the catalog management through Procurement Command Center. The catalogs that were there, you can manage that. You can manage the supplier performance regarding the deliveries, quantities, or the spend analysis performance you can do. You can track the workload and monitor negotiation cycle times. All these features are actually there in the dashboard. So you can use that as per your requirement and then can generate the PO directly from the ECC dashboard. So let us see in the coming slides. Next slide, please. So we're going to discuss one of the use case for Procurement Command Center. Here we can see we have the review requisition workload. Here we can see all the requisitions that are there. All the requisitions are populated from the EBS directly to the ECC. All the data is coming from the EBS as per the concurrent request that we have scheduled to run. Then we can prioritize all the requisitions as per the urgent requirements. We must have selected the urgent flag there in the refinements. Then we can see all the requisitions with urgent flag. Then we can go with the shortest lead time. Why shortest lead time? Because we need to act on certain requisitions on priority. Then we do the supplier analysis, whether the supplier is offering right kind of quality, the delivery time, and we can do the spend analysis performance also there. Then we select the preferred supplier and draft the PO and review and purchase order submitted for the approval from the dashboard itself. So we can see there that Procurement Command Center offers the same functionality that EBS offers along with the highly interactive user experience. Next slide, please. So now we're going to discuss something about iProcurement. In iProcurement, what we do is we use the non-catalog spend. Actually, we can understand it better in one way. Let us take the demo case of, say we have the supplier as Amazon and we can get the credentials, and then we have the contract with the Amazon such that we can log on onto the supplier website. Then we can look onto the categories that we want, can compare different items. Actually, we do not need to build our items database. So we just have the contracts with the supplier, the negotiated prices. Then we can look into the different items that the supplier offers. Then we can compare that with the different features, can add to the cart, and then with a one-click option, we can just go for the requisition. So in a nutshell, this is what iProcurement offers. It actually gives you the consumer-like experience, consumer-like shopping experience with all the features that that the general procurement offers, plus the features that you can directly log on from your application to the supplier's website. So this is all that iProcurement offers. I hope, Arsath, I have answered some of the queries that you asked around iProcurement.
Yeah, you did, Rahul. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. Coming to inventory management, it is one of the key modules. It is also called the heart of the ERP. Up to 12.2.9, we have around 6 dashboards that inventory offers, and in release 12.2.10, Oracle is again gonna give one more dashboard, reservations dashboard. We use the dashboards to do various tasks like coordinating daily activity, optimizing outbound fulfillment. We can expedite receiving, inspection, put away. We will see one of the use cases of the receiving dashboard to see how we can expedite receiving, inspection, and put away. We can maintain inventory accuracy. This is actually the concept of cycle counts, and we can see these cases using cycle count dashboards. And then some of the other dashboards like activity dashboards to prioritize workloads, allocate resources, etc. We will see some of the features in the coming slides. Next slide, please. So let us now see some of the use cases with respect to the receiving dashboard. In the first case, we can see that we have the priority lines for the fulfillment of back order. Actually, when we have the move orders, but we do not have the sufficient quantity, we get the back order lines. Then we can review that what are the lines on priority. We select it based on our requirements, like we can select it for the product with the highest value. Then we can initiate the put away action, and we can deliver the material to complete the put away so that we can further use that material to our requirements. In the second case, also we focus on the lines requiring put away. In that case, we can see that as a user of the inventory, if there are lines that are pending, how can we use this dashboard to take it further? Focus on lines requiring put away. We focus on what are the lines that require the receiving or that require our action. Then we select the lines with the oldest expected date, initiate the put away action, then deliver the material to complete put away. So these are the two classic cases that we can use regarding the receiving dashboard in the inventory. So moving on, next slide, please. Now the third major module that comes in the supply chain is the order management, and we have one of the dashboards from the order management also, order dashboard. Here, as you can see in the picture, we have 326 drafts. That means these are the orders that are initiated but they are not booked actually. And then we can see there are orders with alerts, there are orders with late. So this is the summary bar that we discussed about, and then we have the charts, and in the bottom we have the results or grid table. We'll see some of the features in the coming demo, how we can use, how do we use it, and how do we connect to EBS from here to EBS and then back. So let us see. Next slide, please. So before moving on to demo, I would like to ask Arsath. Arsath, can you please let me know what are the new features that your organization have embraced in your recent upgrade?
Yeah, good question, Rahul. So, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Arsath, please go on.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, good question. So we've decided to incorporate some features during the upgrade. So And we're also slotting some of our other features post-upgrade stabilization. So we see some immediate big gains across the organization, and just to name a few, of course, we're implementing ECC, particularly around procurement, receivables, and payables. We are also incorporating the iFrog enhancements with ECC embedded. We are incorporating the one-step checkout in iFrog. I think we are also looking at the AR period close exceptions, which is a great feature. We are incorporating the AME integration to a lot of our modules. And of course, online patching is a big win as well. So there are some more that I can name that we are looking at right after the upgrade. So order management ECC, for example, because especially order management is heavily customized on our side. So we have to make few changes. So that is something that's coming afterwards. We are incorporating UDA, which is a great feature post upgrade, and then we are also adapting the HTML UI across all the supply chain modules, which is also a very big plus for us. But right after the upgrade, does that answer your question? Rahul, does that answer your question?
Yes, Arshad, we can see that you are using some of the best features and that Oracle offers, and it caters to the best business practices as per the current business practices that Oracle offers. Thank you. Now moving on to the ECC demo. Let me show one of the dashboards that Oracle offers. It is the order management dashboard. Here we can see that on the left we have the refinements. These are actually the search filters. We can do the search as per our requirement. We can search as per the order number. We have the different order numbers there. These data is actually coming from the EBS as per our schedule runs. Then as per the product we can do, as per the salesperson, or for a specific warehouse. All these refinements you can just select and you can do. See, you just select the Boston manufacturing and the data actually populates for that filter that you have applied. And similarly, for a specific customer, if you want to drill down, you can just select the customer. Say General Technologies, I have selected, and you can see the data is populated for the general customer. At the up, you have the summary bar that we discussed about. We have the 0 draft orders for this customer. Here we have the different orders as per the requirements, and we can also change the requirement. We can just go there and say change the metric. We want to use the line amount. Then we can see that this is as per the line amount, and at the bottom also you have the order numbers, customer. This is actually sales order number 69321, and then this is for the customer number, ship to location, order date. All the fields that are on the sales order page are coming here. You can go to the order lines also. Here you can see the different orders and the line numbers for that sales order. We have selected the customer as General Technologies. That's why it is coming as General Technologies. And the status is also there, picked, whether the material is partially picked or whether the material is picked totally. Then you can go there also. You can see the customers, the data as per the customers here. And let me show one of the other dashboards that Oracle offers. Let's go to the shipping dashboard. This shipping dashboard actually comes under inventory module. Let the data be populated, and here we can see that we have not selected any refinements here, no searches here, but it is showing as per now the data for 5 organizations, multiple organization name, 57 are the orders that are scheduled for today. 0 is completed. 1 is for the future, in the future actually. And then you can select the orders. It will, as per the selections you make here, the data will be populated. See, the charts are coming as per the data that we have selected. We can go to a different organization also. We have selected M1 here, so the data will again go to M1. And if there are any orders for this organization, CD and M1, we can see here. And in the down, we again have the delivery details, deliveries and trips. We have the sales order number here, inventory item, what kind of item it is, how much is the quantity, whether the status is back ordered or ready to release. For some is, I mean, it is that it is highly user. Well, let us do this from the orders dashboard. We can directly go to the orders dashboard, and here we can see that these are the order numbers, these are the details. Then we can just click on it, and maybe some technical glitches are there, so it's not working right now. The data is not populating. So it doesn't matter. Actually, what you see is, if you just click on here, you will see the data that is populated. You have seen the features that Oracle offers. You can change the charts as you like. You can see the summary data. So all these are the features that Oracle offers with the command centers and the dashboards. So going back to the slide, Varun, could you please open the presentation again?
Yeah, Rahul. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Yeah, please.
So I think first of all, thank you so much, Arsath and Rahul, for such an informative session. We will go ahead and take some questions now. Just a reminder to everyone, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. We'll take a pause here and invite questions. So looks like we have few questions from the attendees. So first question to you, Rahul, is that Ankur is asking, ECC can, on OM ECC, can we remove hold also from command center?
Yes, we can. Actually, we have the option. We can also go to EBS from ECC, and we can see the action that we have taken at the ECC center. Yes, we can do that.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Rahul, for the answer. I hope, Ankur, that answers your question. We have another question coming in from Sarvanaba. He's asking, command center data can be exported?
Yeah, it can be exported to Excel files. You can use that. I mean, you can export it to Excel and then use it. It can be exported.
Okay. Hi. Thanks, Rahul, for the answer. I hope this answers your question. We have another question from Ankur. So he's asking, can we customize ECC?
Actually, to the extent you can, as I said, that you can customize as per your requirements. You select the different requirements, select the different such criteria, and then you can change the different chart types that you want to use. So in that way, yes, you can customize.
Okay, Sure. So Ankur, I hope that answers your question. We have another question coming in from Zelina. She's asking, like, for the ECC dashboard, is the setup defaulted during upgrade, or we need to set it up ourselves?
It is actually defaulted. You just apply the patches that are required, and then it is defaulted. Then you can work on the different command centers. You apply the different patches, and then it is defaulted. And additionally, you don't have the license code, as we just discussed. No license code for the ECC command centers. If you go above and I mean starting from 12.2.4 and above, there is no license cost, and yes, it is by default.
Okay, thanks, Rahul, for the answer. Hope, Zelina, that answers your question. We have another question coming in from Mahesh. He's asking, like, I mean, will the ECC dashboards show the real-time data?
Actually, it depends. I mean, the data is coming from the EBS, so the more frequent you run the scheduled request, right? So the data is transferred from the EBS to the ECC. So in a way, yes, and again, it depends on the scheduled runs that you are running, right? So it is near to real-time data, I can say.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
depending on when you are using it, it is near to real-time data.
Okay, thanks, Rahul. Thanks for the answer. I hope, Mahesh, this answers your question. We have another question coming in. That is that the extracted data, where it is stored, is the data in any table? Rahul, did you heard the question?
No, could you please repeat it again?
Sure. So the question is, the extracted data, where is it stored? Is the data in any table? Yeah, did you get that, Rahul?
Sorry, there are some technical glitches at my end. I didn't get your question. Could you please repeat once more, please?
Okay,
Sorry.
sure. No worries, no worries. So the question is that the extracted data, where is it stored? Is the data in any table?
Actually, it varies with the product, but the place to see the metadata is you use the ECC developer responsibility to view details for the data sets. The load rules are seeded for data sets and remain the same for all data sets. For each of the load type, load rules show the PLSQL package name and the procedure name used. So I hope that actually answers your question.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Thanks for the answers. So I think this is all the time we had for the question and answer round. We have a few more questions, but we will address the remaining questions one-on-one post this webinar, considering the time which we have. So,
Sure.
So moving on. So as you know, as I mentioned in the beginning, that post this webinar there will be a raffle draw, and all the attendees today will be included in the draw. The winners will get our service where we will configure ECC for one of the functional areas of your choice at no cost. So for that, I'll connect with the raffle winners separately with further details. So if you have any further questions or any feedback for us, please feel free to email us, and we will be happy to reply you. You can mail it on varun.rawat@pathinfotech.com. With that, we end this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time out and joining us. We appreciate you being here. We will also share the recording of the webinar with you all very soon. And once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Arsath, and thank you, Rahul, for such an informative session once again.
Yeah, thank you, Varun. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arsath. Thank you.
Thank you.